She was young, healthy, and full of life. So why did she die suddenly and suspiciously? And why are so many details not adding up? This is Dora Moono Nyambe. She was only 32 years old and accomplished more in her short lifetime than most of us will in our entire lives. She rescued over 500 children from child marriages, horrible abuses, and even human trafficking. And she unfortunately passed away very suddenly, very suspiciously, between the hours of 3 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock in the morning, the day or the night of Christmas, following a Christmas party. Now, family has pledged to speak to the local publication, the Zambian Observer. And most people who have found interest in Dora's death have not been people of Zambia, but more people from around the world, because Dora had over 4 million TikTok followers and more on other platforms. And so I wanted to dissect and dig into what the family has to say, because it contradicts what many of us have heard in light of the unsettling demise of Dora Moono Nyambe. I know some of you are going to say that you don't think that Dora actually trusted her family and that her family did not support her. But what I do want to say is that we should probably still hear what the family has to say, because what the family says contradicts what others have told us. And the family is the one that received the death certificate. So hear me out here. We're going to cover a lot, so stay with me all the way to the very end. And then let me know what you think in the comments. Is there anything suspicious going on? Should we, cyber sleuths, should we dig deeper into this? Should we try to talk to more people than what is controlling Dora's beloved social media? Let's dig in. Now, this letter was dated on December 29th, just 3 days after Dora's passing, and it's actually addressed to friends, followers, and colleagues of Dora. Here's what it says. Against everything we believe in as a family regarding matters of loss of anyone, one of us, we have been compelled to this statement that seeks to set the record straight regarding the social media commentaries that have so far been propelled by some known social media dwellers who have sought to create an impression that we, as the family of Dora, are trying to take possession of any form of property belonging to our deceased beloved, or the foundation that she established out of her pure desire to save young children in distress by providing a safe haven for them. They're trying to set the record straight right here that they are not trying to take the foundation, they're not trying to take the property or any assets, because people on social media have claimed that they are, and they indeed are not. I think someone who's being honest is going to indeed show that. Anything that they're being accused of, they're going to come out and say, hey, this is not what's happening, just to set the record straight, so I respect this. Plus, we're a month after Dora passing, a month and some change, and her family still has not tried to take anything. They go on to say that they only share the same desire as all of the well-meaning associates of Dora, who wish to see her legacy live on, thereby ensuring that all her works and achievements are accounted for. Key word in there, well-meaning associates of Dora, which means to indicate that there are not well-meaning associates of Dora. Now, here's where it gets quite interesting. Stay tuned here. For those who may wish to know the unclear circumstances that led to Dora's death, yes, that's me. I want to know. Right? So do you. That has prompted us as a family to call for a full autopsy. So they did what's called an inquest to the authorities to have a full autopsy done of Dora. This is something that only family can request when they believe in Zambia that there's been a suspicious death. And family did indeed believe that there was a suspicious death. Here's what they have to say. So far, reports we have gathered here in Makushi, please forgive me if I'm not saying that correctly, indicate that the death of our beloved Dora Moono Nyambe follows a Christmas party that was held at the Footprints of Hope school premises. On that fateful night, Dora attended a party with her friends and workmates, after which she reportedly went to bed, where she later developed severe stomach pains, which resulted in her driving herself. She drove herself, this is key, she drove herself to the nearest health center at around 3 o'clock in the morning. As a result of the severity of her stomach pains, she unfortunately died shortly after reaching the center, before the health personnel could even attend to her. As a result of the severity of the stomach pains, she unfortunately died shortly after reaching the center. Key. Despite this account that has been repeated by a few friends who were present at the said party, the death certificate acquired from the health center indicates that Dora was brought in dead. She was brought in dead. That's what a death certificate indicates. A fact that raises further questions, because friends are saying that she arrived there to the hospital and then was not attended to before she passed away. But the death certificate is saying that she arrived dead, according to the death certificate, according to the family. So naturally, according to the family, these unclear and highly suspicious circumstances surrounding her death have prompted us as a family and other well-meaning associates to ask questions that can only be adequately answered by the conducting of a post-mortem by a competent and credible expert. In a time of death, every clan or family subjects itself to certain traditional customs that must be respected at all times, such as the fact that after the demise of any of us, individuals who are present must be able to give account of how the deceased met their end. Upon giving a satisfactory account that is consistent with the findings of the post-mortem, the family will proceed to perform the burial rites and put the deceased to rest. They refused to bury Dora until a post-mortem autopsy was performed, because they thought something very suspicious had happened, and they are demanding that the individuals who were present pay account for what happened to precious Dora. They continue, devoid of the above procedure being followed, burial cannot take place at any given time or place. Good for them. I have so much respect for the family right here. The position of the family is such that everything about Dora must be harmonized to an extent that her dream and legacy lives on, that her establishments continue to impact the lives of those in need, even if the vision is carried on by people unrelated to Dora. Y'all, they didn't even care if it was them or not that continued to care for the kids. They just cared that they continued to be cared for. So I appreciate that about them very much. The family will not exert any personal interest except that we register our displeasure with the manner in which a named friend or friends who were allegedly present at the time of Dora's unfortunate demise took her mobile phone. Y'all, they took her mobile phone and other effects and have elected to only keep in touch with the outside world and shared updates on Dora's personal social media platforms. somewhat business as usual attitude, despite the family and other stakeholders making numerous attempts to have them come to the house of mourning so as to help harmonize all matters of the deceased, her works and circumstances of death. So whoever took her phone and her personal effects kept things business as usual and refused to show up in the house of mourning to pay account for the last hours of her life. And then the article reaffirms, please note that from here on now, the family will communicate all information regarding Dora's funeral and burial through and appointed through this platform and other credible media outlets. And then it says, we will keep you posted should the family wish to make any more statement. Now, here's the thing. There's more articles from the Zambian Observer, and the colleagues of Dora even talk in some of those articles. So I'm going to read some of them, and y'all let me know what you think. I think something's not adding up here, and I'm not going to stop talking about this until justice is served. According to Zambian law, according to the inquest process, it can take 12 weeks for the autopsy results to actually even come back. So if you are a family member of Dora, I want to talk to you. If you work with Dora, I want to talk to you. I want to know the details surrounding the last days of her life, because whoever did this to her, whether it was poisoning or otherwise, they need to be brought to justice. In this article in particular, that was dated on the same day that Dora passed away, just hours later, it has an interview in there of someone that worked with Dora. I want you to pay very close attention with what this teacher of the school says compared with what the family said previously. In an interview with Kalemba at her school, forgive me for not pronouncing these names correctly, Mubenga Gravies shared that Dora was a kind person, the best boss that the school staff could ever have. Mubenga said the night before she died, Dora, her team, and children had been sharing a light moment, laughing and sharing stories until 2300 hours, which is about 11 o'clock at night, when she retired to bed. At that point, she never complained of being sick or feeling ill. She only woke up around 2 o'clock in the morning yesterday and drove herself to the nearby clinic, which is about 1,500 kilometers away from the school, after having passed out on different occasions. Hold on. At that point, she never complained of being sick or feeling ill. But later in that interview, she said, after having passed out on different occasions. Is it just me, or did she contradict herself within that same interview? Said she only woke up around 2 o'clock in the morning of yesterday and drove herself to the nearby clinic, which is about 15 kilometers away. That's about 3 hours of a drive. From what I understand, it goes on, we were only informed by the clinic that she had died around 4 o'clock in the morning, stating that she had low blood pressure. So why does the death certificate, according to the family, say that she was dead upon arrival? She was brought in dead. Help me understand. The article goes on to say that Mubenga added that Dora was far beyond what people knew about her, as she helped a lot of families and people but never posted on social media because her selfless personality made her help others without showing off. We need to be more like Dora. When we received the news of her death, the mood of the school changed, of course. The children were so broken, and it is very devastating. Everyone is just sad. She was very selfless. The best boss I ever had. She never cared about herself, but about the well-being of the children, especially the girl child. Oh, hold on a second. And also the boy child. She dedicated her life to work for them. The article goes on to say that Mubenga added that Dora was far beyond what people knew about her, as she helped a lot of families and people but never posted on social media because her selfless personality made her help others without showing off. We need to be more like Dora. Now the school, which once was a happy place, is a mourning ground for its founder. The children who smiled at her face are now crying at the call of her name. Burial is expected and did take place already, but they're calling for answers here because there's some very suspicious, contradicting stories that are not adding up. Mubenga goes on to say, our aim right now is to ensure that we keep her legacy and vision going by ensuring that her school remains running and that these children continue receiving the free education, shelter, and food they have been receiving, because that is what Dora lived for, and that is the only thing we can do for her in her death. Listen, Mubenga, I agree with you. We need to come together as a collective, people of the world that want to see Dora's legacy continue, that want to see these children taken care of. I agree with you. But at the same time, we need to know that the people that are close to those children, the people that are running Footprints of Hope, the new leaders, the people that are caring directly with these children, we need to know that those are not the same people that caused Dora's demise. But there's more that I find very interesting, so continue watching. Now, there was a religious leader of some sort that did an obituary in the Zambian Observer, and I want to go through that with you because I find that even more telling, because it's really not an obituary. It's like social media stats. It's weird. It starts off, obituary, you see that at the top left corner, and then it says, Lessons from Dora Moono Nyambe, the case of segmented audiences by Ambassador Emmanuel Muamba. Dated on the same day that she passed away, dated on December 26th. It's really quite interesting. Ambassador Emmanuel Muamba goes on to say the sudden demise of a young philanthropist, teacher, and role model, Dora, shocked the nation, but also revealed certain issues that provide food for thoughts. This is supposed to be an obituary. Look at what this dude does. He goes on, imagine that she had a following of 4.1 million people on the popular social media platform TikTok. To put this into perspective, the Facebook accounts with the largest following in Zambia are, and then he accounts those, yet her account dwarfs those pages. This was just an utter shock to this man. Yet when paying tribute to her and her work, many Facebook influencers expressed surprise and ignorance about her and the extent of her passion and her charity work. I'm pretty sure he's talking about the Zambians. Her passion and determination led her to establish Footprints of Hope and a school for underprivileged children. Yes, absolutely. She also used the power of social media and raised over $450,000 to build her school for the underprivileged girls and those she was rescuing from child marriages in Makushi, district. Praise God for that. But it goes on, and it's quite interesting. Her work was so impactful, yet she escaped the attention of traditional donors and of those policymakers who provide state honors to deserving citizens. For us in the communication space, we understand this unique phenomenon that arises as a result of a segmented audience. And then he goes on to explain Facebook's audience. Ordinary people also access Facebook. Then he goes on to explain X's audience on an obituary. So it goes on to talk about X, a favorite for the educated, professional, academics, analytical, Instagram, people that like pictures and videos, TikTok. And then it said it is most popular with the younger generation, referring to TikTok, particularly those between the ages of 18 and 24, making Gen Z the largest user group on the platform. Then it goes into WhatsApp and talks about how Zambians use WhatsApp. Then it goes on to a social media called Not on Social Media. Or maybe he's just talking about people that are not on social media. An ardent group exists that consumes and relies on traditional forms. Yes, he's talking about not social, people that don't use, you know what I'm talking about, people that don't use social media. And then he's talking about cross-pollinators. Audience segmentation can be based on a variety of factors, including age, who cares? Dude, this is an obituary to honor the life of a woman who saved over 500 children from child marriages and the sort. And you can't stop talking about social media? Write a different article. I'm sure the Zambian Observer would not mind you writing a different article about how Dora was able to bypass all the different segmented audiences or whatever have you, but this is not the place for it. Am I off here? He goes on to say other factors include personality types, values, attitudes. Is this guy tone deaf? To impact a mass audience effectively, one needs to influence across all traditional and new media platforms, tailor one's content to each platform, to each promote your other channels within posts. Yes, my friend. Yes, that is called marketing. It's marketing, it's having a plan, it's more of a modern approach, and maybe he's an older gentleman and just not aware of modern ways to fundraise. Now he is, but just saying tone deafness, this is not the place to put this information, not in an obituary. But clearly, there are many heroes and heroines such as Dora that escape the attention and recognition of you and me. We've known about her for those that have been following her. But here's the thing. I think that what Dora was doing was so countercultural in Zambia that even the guy that was tasked with writing her obituary did not know how to write her obituary. Now, there was another guy who I'm going to show you here in a second that wrote a tribute to Dora, and it was beautiful. But there's something that really is highlighted through that prior obituary, and that is just, I don't think that we counted the cost of protecting kids. Dora did, I think. She knew that she was making a lot of people angry, but us around the world in more comfortable environments. I don't think that we realize how dangerous it is for people around the world to protect kids. It's dangerous here in the United States, but it cost Dora her life. And people want answers. We want to support the kids that are left behind. Dora's children. We believe that one way we can support those children is to make sure that Dora's perpetrator is no longer there and in contact with those kids, or for us to at least know that there was natural causes. But the stories are not adding up. So it doesn't look like it's natural causes. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Now, I think that this tribute that was done a few days after her death was absolutely beautiful. A tribute to Dora, a hidden heroine, unrecognized in her time. One thing that I thought was kind of odd was it says, "We are sorry, Dora. May you rest in peace." We are sorry. Why say sorry? I'm just wondering who you're saying sorry for. It says, now that she's gone, we are left to mourn the loss of a true legend. I agree. A woman who touched the lives of countless people and who left an indelible mark on the world. We are left to wonder what could have been if only we had acknowledged her greatness while she was still with us. But even in death, Dora's legacy lives on. Her story is a shining example of a power of selfless love, kindness, and compassion. So let us honor Dora's memory by striving to be better, by seeking out the unsung heroes among us, and by supporting them in their endeavors. Let us celebrate their achievements, amplifying their voices, and show them the love and appreciation that they deserve. Rest in peace, Dora. Your legacy will live on, and your memory will continue to inspire us to be better and to make a difference in the world. So the author of the article, the tribute to Dora, which was lovely, was apologizing in the beginning for not recognizing her greatness, her inspirationalness, if you will, in her last days. So don't let that be any of us. Let us all recognize each other's amazing strengths and abilities and boldness in light of horrors and evil. And let us carry the torch that Dora so bravely held in such a dark place in this world. Now, there's a lot of things that are surrounding Dora's death that are extremely suspicious. So until we get more answers, let's continue to search. Let's continue to pray, and let's continue to see what we can do to support the children that Dora left behind. The children that mourn the loss of their mother, whether that's just praying for them or contacting Footprints of Hope directly and finding out how you can best support them. Now, in the meantime.
And if you care about boldly protecting children and the vulnerable in our society, then give me a follow for more content just like this.